Trump didn't need to do that.
I don't want to see my commander-in-chief in a drive-through fucking window.
He's winning now. That's the thing. People don't understand. He's winning now. He needs to be focused on the issues and remind us of how he was when he was president.
It's a cheap stunt, I feel.
It's a cheap stunt.
We've got a lot of cheap morons in this country. We do. And he's got to reach them in some way. And they say he's got 170 IQ, Tony. I think...
Well,
Can you imagine?
I think he calculated it, and I think it played out well.
Can you imagine General Washington doing that? Because he's going to be commander-in-chief, right? Yeah. Imagine General Washington do it. Imagine General Grant doing that. Imagine Dwight Eisenhower doing that. General Patton doing that.
No, they wouldn't.
Imagine Julius Caesar doing that. Fuck no. In November, we have the election. November, the first Tuesday of November coming up. And then we again will celebrate Veterans Day a couple days after. You guys know how I feel, how deeply I feel for our military heroes. We talk about them all the time. We visit with them at the restaurant. We spend a lot of time with those guys, especially our combat veterans. To me, these are the men who defend our freedom with their lives. These are the guys that face the real bullets and the bombs. And without them, there wouldn't be an election day. And so it's kind of fitting, I believe, that you have election day, then you have Veterans Day, backing it up. I bring this up because time and time again, I hear about this great charity, this one and that one, raising funds for the wounded. And even worse, having to take donations to send to our troops who actually need it to sustain themselves. When on duty, posted around the world, many even when they're in combat. This to me is fucking unforgivable. It's unforgivable, and it's a disgrace as a nation. Our government officials, I believe, should be tried for treason on this issue alone. I think it's time we go back to the Roman times to learn the proper way to treat our troops. You know, the Romans had great respect for their soldiers. They understood that they were the protectors against a world of barbarians. It is why they often raised monuments in their honor in Rome. You see them everywhere. These are monuments for men that were just commoners, which is what the Roman army was mostly comprised of. There was the auxiliary within the army for the non-citizens, and then the legion, which everyone else aspired to join. People wanted to be part of the legion. Men wanted to be members of the legion that had status. The legion was so selective that it took a good letter of recommendation and some political contacts to secure enlistment. There were strict physical and social requirements to be accepted for recruitment. Soldiers had no rights to challenge discipline. To join the Legion was an honor, so you gave that up. You knew what you were in for. 33 to 35 legions were keeping order around the world at this time, each with about 5,000 men in uniform. Centurions, who were the elite of the soldiers, they were like the officers. And they were in charge of units with about 100 soldiers each under their command. Each soldier had to take an oath of loyalty to the emperor. They called this sacramentum. You think about the city Sacramento. Gee, where did that city name come from? The word sacramentum was later adopted by the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, for its initiation rites. And they still use that word today. We all know, the three of us, Catholics. These citizen warriors would receive good pay, okay? And even upon retirement would receive a pension worth a decade's pay.
Wow.
Think about that, a decade. They would even receive farmland as a bonus. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Like we should be doing here, non-citizens lack the social status and legal rights of Roman citizens. Only after 25 years in service were they rewarded with citizenship. And that would transform their lives and their families' lives. Now think about that. 25 years. Now, just walk across the border, spit on the country, here's your citizenship. Right? Here's your permission to go vote in the election. Yeah. Cavalrymen were among the most coveted roles in the army. They received extra pay because they needed to take care of their horses and equipment. Soldiers below the rank of centurion were not officially allowed to marry because they wanted soldiers to be focused. You hear about all these men overseas now. They have wives and kids. You see women overseas that have husbands and kids at home. It's ridiculous. Rome conquered and then assimilated huge numbers of people when expanding territories. Yeah. Assimilated, key word, right? The conquered became subject to Roman law. Imagine if we had that here. And the soldiers were responsible for enforcing that law, and they did it with pride. Philosopher, great Roman philosopher, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, you guys know who that is.
Yep.
He celebrated his rise to the imperial throne with a gift of 5,000. They called the form of payment back then denarii, D-A-N-A-R-I. And he paid each of them 5,000 if you were in the legion, which was considered like a fortune in those days. You know, the members of the Roman legion knew about sacrifice for their nation, loyalty to their commanders, brothers in arms. They understood heroism and the realities of suffering and death. They understood it and they welcomed it. I believe our men in uniform now here that serve in this country, especially the men who see combat, I feel the same way about them. I think that they have that same feeling of pride and honor and duty, but that must be matched with how they are treated for the sacrifice these guys make. Not like the men of the Korean War who were forgotten, or the Vietnam War, the men who come back and they were spat upon, right?
Yeah.
And not like the men who return from battle even now, who come back to lives that are in shambles. Not like how we force trans freaks or actual men who are below standards into foxholes with like men of valor. So because of this, and I bring this up because I heard something Trump said just the other day, and I'm challenging him. When he says that he's considering exempting military men from paying income tax, I think to myself, you're considering? What the fuck is there to consider? And when I say military men, I mean especially the men who have been in combat. Men, like I said, who are on the front lines, that are in battle, that are facing death every day. Do you want to restore respect and honor to the military? Then on day one, he needs to start with making that income tax proposal he's discussing right now. He needs to make it law on day fucking one. And I'm not finished too. He needs to vanquish open homosexuality from all branches of the military. And when still detected, he needs to expel them. Out. You're fucking out. Okay? Raise the standards, highest level for all recruits, the highest level possible. Reward American citizens, soldiers with better pay and rank than non-citizens, right? Because you see a lot of them that are trying to serve. They think it's their path to getting citizenship. Reward combat vets with gold standard retirement benefits, golden parachutes as they give to CEOs in these Fortune 500 companies, and raise more monuments throughout the country to honor these military heroes here, starting with every one of our Medal of Honor recipients throughout the country, everywhere, and make people understand what those monuments are about, and make people honor them, and understand the history of each hero that made the ultimate sacrifice. And we know one of them.
Yes.
Talk about him often. These are the men who are following in the footsteps of those who helped birth our country, and the patriots of the American Revolution. And to those people who are watching this show from the countries that we know you're watching from, because we see the streaming, I can't remember all of them: China, Brazil, Sweden, Australia, Bulgaria, Russia. I mean, go on and on and on. It's impressive and it's humbling at the same time. But those people who are in those countries that do not have the freedoms that we have here, but want them just as badly as every human being does, they need to study the founding of this country. If that's what they want, they need to study the founding of this country and understand the sacrifices made, because the blueprint for achieving liberty and freedom is all right there to read. Learn the history. And in this war now that we're fighting against the enemy within, the domestic enemy, and we've had veterans come to the restaurant on Veterans Day and talk to us about this, actually saying to us that the battles we were fighting there during the lockdowns, fighting the enemy within is more important than fighting the foreign enemy, because the enemy within is more dangerous. It's the traitor. There you go.
All right. Serial number AF 18924373. Name John Mraz. Rank Airman. 1968. Drafted by the U.S. Army. I decided to join the Air Force because the Army was really bad. Those of you who know that era, it was horrible. In any case, when I took the oath as a young man, I swore to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Yeah. And that's the one thing that a lot of young people forget. The oath reads foreign and domestic. And the last part of that, when you take your oath, think about it. There is no end to the oath. That's right. It doesn't say until I'm released from the military. It doesn't say that. You raise your hand, that oath is forever. Awesome. God bless America. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. All right.
Thank you. And so I challenge the wealthy who call them, the millionaires, and especially the billionaires who call themselves American patriots. I challenge them, telling them that it is your duty as an American to help fund the fighters on the front lines that are fighting the battles on your behalf, that you're unwilling to. If you call yourself a patriot, contribute whatever it is that you have to help win this fight, whether it be your profession, your expertise, your time, whatever resources that you have. Volunteer, just like Ashley Babbitt's mother stepped up and took care of you, Kim, when you visited Washington, D.C. to fight your battle last week. Using the means that she had, and I don't know if she did it all herself or she had people behind her, but she was part of it. But that's what all of these people should be doing, contributing in any way they possibly can, because you're a frontline fighter. And they should be doing it for all the J6ers, for all of them, who are in prison right now, and I usually say this at the end of the show, but I challenge again people of means that say they're patriots, but are just on the sidelines doing nothing. I say these words to them. Like I usually say these words at the end of the show, but I'm going to say it now. You're Americans, act like it.
Yeah. So there's a lot. You really uncovered a lot of issues there. One thing people need to understand: we're at war. There is a war within, and we're at war now, and we need to be at war, but right back at them. The military's purpose. The military needs to get out of this social experiment that they're in now. The military's purpose is to kill people and break things. That's it. They don't need to be, gender neutral and, participating in this trans thing. It's just, that's not what the military is all about.
And they can learn this if they want to watch movies like, they can watch movies like Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket. Right?
Exactly.
Platoon's
pretty good too. Go ahead.
But that's the purpose of, and if we want to win wars, we need warriors, just like the Roman legion. I mean, that's an amazing story. I didn't really know much about the Roman legion back in the day, but that's where our military should be. And to me, it seems like whichever administration is in charge of this country, the president's basically in charge of the military. Right now with the current administration we have, I wouldn't recommend anybody get into the military. I mean, I think that they don't fight wars to win. If there's Trump gets elected, God willing, next weeks or whatever, and he's back in charge, I think it's a different story, and I would encourage people to join the military. But
that's a fact, because our friend Javi, that comes by and visits us. I've known him for a long, long time. He's a dear, dear friend. And he was in the Marines when they had the initial invasion in Iraq.
Yeah.
And he told me stories. He said, Tony, we were put there not to win anything. He said, we had to call in and get authority when we wanted to fire on somebody. It was like, you can shoot here, but you can't shoot there. You can shoot there, but you can't shoot here. I mean, it was like, he said they were fighting with one arm tied behind their backs. And that was under Bush.
Yeah.
Fuck him. But
we know about the Bushes.
Exactly. So he was explaining to me, he was telling me stories that were fascinating. And I mean, I went into a rage just thinking about him out there, how they just throw him out there like cannon fodder, where these guys are trained to kill, just like you said.
Yeah.
You let them off the leash, and then they're told, nah, hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I talk about how we need to raise money to feed our soldiers in combat, are you kidding? You give them whatever they need and more. He was telling me stories where they didn't have any food, and they were catching rabbits and eating rabbits, and then he said to the point where they needed protein so much that they would even pop the eyeballs out of the rabbit's head and
eat those.
And eat that too. That's a shame. That's shameful.
Yeah. He did end up in Saddam Hussein's palace at one point, didn't he?
Yeah, he made it all the way. I mean, he literally said like they were on the battle line, like on the border of Kuwait. I think it was Kuwait.
Yeah.
I can't remember which country he was in, and Iraq. Like you could step over, but they couldn't. So they were all lined up, like you would see, like a legion, ready to invade. Yeah. And they were there for days, just months or weeks or whatever it was, waiting for the order. And then finally, he said it was just such an amazing feeling when he got the call. Yeah. George Bush says, "Go in," and then that they just crossed over and the war started.
Yeah.
For those guys, but So to hear it firsthand is maddening. So when we see those guys come into the restaurant and talk to us, I can only imagine what they went through when they were sent off to war under the command of Biden or Obama or
Yeah.
some of these other fuckers,
Yeah. Even some Republican presidents weren't as good as they could have been. I think one of the things that Trump did in his first term was he did kind of unleash the military, got to the generals and said, "Hey, what do we need to do to win?"
Yeah.
And then let them do their thing. Whereas, these others are always micromanaging. I know Johnson, during the Vietnam War, Johnson was picking the targets from the Oval Office, which I don't know how can you win a war that way? That's not, that's setting yourself up to failure.
Going back to giving them exempt status on income taxes, every American should be exempt from paying income tax. Yeah. Who the fuck is the government to tell you how much money that you earned you can keep?
Yeah.
And who the fuck are they then to rob you of your money and then spend it as they wish without your authority? Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? But if you're going to start with the combat soldiers first, the combat veterans first, the guys that laid their lives on the line.
Yeah.
There's a difference. And they know it amongst themselves too. There's a veteran that can say, I'm a veteran, and walk around with a hat on. Yeah. Says, I'm a veteran. But then you have to ask him, what did you do? Oh, I was at a desk job, or I was like a mechanic. I understand all that. That's great. You need the support.
Absolutely.
But there is a difference when you compare those guys to the warriors.
Yeah.
Guys that go into the battle. And in Roman times, those guys were treated like kings.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't really differentiate between those two. If you're in the military, it doesn't really, we don't make it special. Actually, there are some groups that make it special
those guys among themselves, they tell me about it.
Yeah.
They tell me about it. They'll actually pull me aside and go, that guy over there who's talking a big game, he didn't spend any time on the front lines. Yeah. He was way in the back.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be real.
You got to be real. Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like Trump, when he said about McCain, I like the war heroes that don't get caught.
Yeah.
Because McCain had downed 5 planes or destroyed 5 planes.
Yeah.
How is that a successful soldier? How is that a successful warrior?
I want the guy who took prisoners of war, not was a prisoner of war,
exactly.
Right? Now, if you're a prisoner, if you're a prisoner of war, you did something heroic when you were taken as a prisoner of war, and then you stood up and you didn't cave and you didn't sign a sworn statement condemning
America.
Yeah,
like
United States
McCain
America the way he did exactly.
Wasn't he Naval Academy grad? Where did he graduate?
Was no Rambo.
Where did he graduate in his class? Was he at the top or the bottom?
Was he last?
Huh?
Pretty
much. He was last, right?
I think it was second to last.
And he even made propaganda recordings for the.
Well, he was the son of an admiral, right?
Yeah.
Special treatment for sure.
Yeah, he was a privileged.
He was not Louis Zamperini that we talked about in one of our episodes.
He was the Hunter Biden of the 60s.
Yeah.
Mr. Playboy, having fun, hot shotting, not really serious.
But when you talk about Trump now potentially being commander in chief again, and what I really hate, I've mentioned this before. Stop holding up the signs that say 47 and calling yourself a 47, right? Call yourself 45 because you did not lose the last election.
Yeah.
Stop saying you're 47 because then you're basically legitimizing number 46. You're 45 and you're still fucking 45. Enough with the 47. But I like that he's saying that he's finally calling the fucking left the enemy within.
Yeah.
And he's striking a chord because they're losing their fucking minds over it.
Yeah.
And I remember you were saying something about
the
founding fathers. They use that language.
It's nothing new. They knew about this. And I read a little bit. I'm not an expert on this, but they were worried about the enemy from within. So then they try to, our whole system of government is set up to try and, protect us from tyranny.
Yeah.
And
enemies, foreign and domestic.
Exactly. And our enemies like Russia and China, they know that they may not be able to beat us from the outside, but they know for sure they can beat us from the inside. And that's why you see all these Chinese spies and Russian spies coming in and doing all these things to us because they're trying to upend our system from within.
Well, before
we can't allow that.
Well, especially China. China is in bed with Hollywood.
Yeah.
China is in bed with the Democrats. China is, to me, when I hear the deep state, I think, yeah, okay, the FBI, but I also think of China. Because, what was Fauci doing with all his little experiments in China lab, the Wuhan lab?
Well, yeah, getting around U.S. laws.
But that's like working like a level beyond what we have of accountability in the United States. He's not being accountable. He's working at a different level. He's working at a deep state level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I feel like China is embedded in our government. I feel like China is embedded in, of course, Hollywood. But people don't know this. I saw it with my own eyes. I think that China's infiltrated our churches and our MAGA movement. And that's something they don't talk about. Epoch Times or different things we talk about. China being academia, China being in our our industrial companies and whatnot. But and of course Hollywood, but they don't talk about churches. That's like where American, resilience, they derive their strength from that. Churches, MAGA movement, of course the Chinese would infiltrate that.
Well, they're all over the schools. They're all over the universities.
Yeah.
Professors, students, and recently it was uncovered that one of Kamala's close friends and mentors, a woman named Latifah Simon, she was her friend, I think, she's been her friend for 10 years, I believe. And she's running for Congress in California right now. I forget where exactly. I assume probably in the Bay. And she was a keynote speaker at the I think at the last TNC convention. Yeah, on her behalf. So she has been friends. This woman Latifah is close friends with a top executive of a CCP, Communist Chinese Party front. This guy who's the CEO, who's the head of it.
Yeah.
And she's been friends with this guy. I think his name is James Chow, and she's been friends with him over 10 years. So I think it's called the China United States Exchange Foundation, and so yeah, China's at the top of the list.
Tony,
absolutely,
with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I go up to Northern California to go see my kids. I happen to, on occasion, make my way into San Francisco to take care of a little business here and there. And I just happened to go to San Francisco when the Chinese delegation was here.
Oh, God.
Like 8
Don't
months
get me
ago
started.
or a year ago. And I remember I was like, why is it so empty? Where are all the cars?
Yeah.
And I'm driving, and I'm like one of the only people on the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever. I'm going across, and then I start seeing checkpoints with officers. They're all kind of just off the side doing nothing. And then the route I would take, I ended up driving right by the Chinese delegation as they're getting out of their limos. And I saw the flags, I saw everything. And then finally when I made my destination, somebody told me what was going on. And I was like, wow, I saw that with my own eyes. I saw history. I saw that they cleaned up this whole
And you see all the fucking Chinese flags?
Yes. And
there are no American flags.
And they cleaned
Chinese
up
flags.
the whole fucking city.
It looked like Tiananmen Square, right?
That's
how it looked. Remember how clean that was?
That shithole city. It was
Yeah.
like, I mean, I've got these images burning my brain of seeing the filth on the sidewalk. They just spray it and smear it all across the sidewalk. It doesn't clean it. But that day, that city was clean.
That fucking day, if there was a tank, you would have been standing right in front of it. We would have said, isn't that Kim? Right? He would have been the only guy standing in front of the fucking
tank. It was
tank.
their city that day.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
And Newsom was kind of Newsom was pretty proud of that, and he didn't deny that they cleaned moved the homeless out. And when they all left, they all everything went back to the old way.
The first fucking enemy within that our side, and if Trump really is running things over there properly this time, the first enemy within he needs to have his eye on Fox News, because last election Fox News, they were calling states early like Arizona.
Yeah.
He needs to have poll watchers, and we talked about sending goons, like big fucking guys, to these polls and keep an eye on these fuckers. He needs to send goons to Fox News studios, and they need to watch those guys.
Yeah.
And when when they're about to call a fucking state, they need to get authorization first from us.
You know why they're
That's
so
right.
dangerous?
That's
Because they have the authority of verification or validation as being conservative, right?
Yeah, what a
And
joke.
so when you got to be careful who your friends are,
Yeah.
because
Well-
if you are friendly with somebody that's going to stab you in the back, by maintaining that relationship, you're actually co-signing what they do to you. So when Trump does, if he does seem to play it nice with Fox, then when they screw him over, it gives them more authority, more validation that, hey, we're his friends, and even we're saying he's lost. And that's what he's got to be careful of. And Trump practices this. It's a New York motto. It's a Sun Tzu motto. It's an Italian motto. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. But like you said, he needs to be able to make that power move on Fox because they are the enemy.
well.
That's the first enemy that you need to keep an eye on.
Fox is kind of
election night.
Fox has a mixture of both. You have conservatives on Fox. Rupert Murdoch was conservative. The father, he's in his 90s
But how
now.
conservative?
Well,
You know what I mean? It's like this.
more so his son,
kind of standard we
who's
looking at?
running it, is a big lib.
Yeah.
So you've got.
So it's
a
all a
mixture.
sham.
Well, he should.
Well, it
disown-
is. I mean-
he should fucking disown his son. Listen, if my son, I'm warning him now. When he sees this, he's only he's only 5 months old right now. But when he sees this, I'm warning him now. If he does that shit, if he's a liberal, if he goes against the beliefs that I have, I'm disowning his ass. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
and guess
happening.
what? These people on Fox too.
And if kids knew these days everything's accepted, but if kids knew that they were going to be disowned by their parents when they did shit, right, that broke their fucking hearts, they would think twice, because that's how I grew up.
Yeah,
I didn't get into trouble. I didn't do stupid shit because I thought about my mother and my father always. I didn't want to break their hearts.
Yeah,
and that's why I walked a straight line always. What were you saying? Sorry.
On Fox News, I won't even say, even people like Hannity, you know what? Yeah, you say some people on Fox are good and some are bad, but guess what? Hannity is not going to fucking go out and counter-signal his station when they start fucking turning on Trump because he wants to keep his fucking cushy job.
Yeah.
So he's a traitor too because he's going to keep his mouth shut. If Fox starts fucking going sideways on Trump and talking shit, Hannity and all these other people that claim to be holding the line, they need to speak up and say, no, this is bullshit, and speak out against their organization. But they won't because they want the money and they want to have that position. And that's why they're dangerous too. Hannity's dangerous too because if he's not calling out Fox, he's afraid of losing his job, and he's a fucking traitor too.
Sean Hannity in his dumb fucking studio where he's acts like he knows how to throw a football. You know when he does that shit, he throws it out to the spectators,
Nerf
the audience,
footballs.
and everything he says are always like, "Ooh, yeah." It's like, shut the fuck up. And he's making about $40 million a year, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, you think he gives a fuck about any of those fucking people? Do you think he really believes the things that he says? He just knows if he keeps saying what he says, right? It's a grift. He's making $40 million a year. He'll just keep saying it, whether he believes it or not.
That's why I
you
say
can't
fuck
fucking
him.
trust him. Yeah, you can't fucking trust him. So
Trump has talked to him a lot. Trump has had a lot of interviews with him.
Look what they did to Tucker Carlson. I mean, I don't know that
but he
Tucker's
was
a
a
real
bow tie wearing liberal on CNN for a long time.
I know, but he was getting
Trust him?
he was getting a little bit too deep into into the conservative movement, and they got rid of him. So
Yeah, well,
And he was keeping it real too. I'll give him that. He was keeping it real. He's America first kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear that shit.
well, I don't like. I didn't like at the Al Smith dinner that Catholic event they had where Trump was up there fawning all over fucking Schumer before he blasted him. He said something funny. It was a joke that was written for him that he said about him that was good. But he's on the mic and before he lays down his joke, he makes sure that Schumer knows that, hey, I was a big admirer of yours. I was a big supporter of yours. I sent you lots of money. I think you do a great work. I said, shut the fuck up. Okay. Why are you saying that? And Schumer's are laughing. I saw the clip of it.
He's not Italian like us. We want to be blunt and to your face, but he's killing them with kindness. Because if you think about it, Schumer looked like crap. He's all hunched over, all making these weird faces. Like he looked like a total fucking movie villain. And Trump,
gargoyle, like a little
gargoyle,
gargoyle,
creature,
She
right?
had fucking horns.
And Trump's sitting there saying nice things. So Trump can't be saying, he did give him some backhanded compliments. He did say he used to support me, but now he doesn't like me.
I would never give somebody that satisfaction.
But really, in the end, Look at Schumer. Look at the physiognomy. You can see that this guy is a fucking villain. You can see this guy's a piece of shit. And Trump just gave him fucking the space to look bad. Well, Trump came out looking like a rose. He got his jabs in here and there. But I'll give Trump credit that he knows how to fucking work these people.
I'm not a man of reason. I'm a man of destroy the enemy, annihilate them.
Schumer's a lot like Biden. You know, both of those men never had a real job. They got elected to, you know, government positions early on, right after law school. I don't think Schumer did very well in law school. I know Biden didn't. He was in the lower end of his class. So
plagiarizing even.
Yeah.
And stop giving attention to these fucking sheeple who call themselves the undecided. Right?
I mean, morons.
Yeah.
The morons.
These sheeple are so weak and fucking stupid, undecided. These are the same people. They should just line them up at the trans surgeon's office getting ready for their fucking sex change operation. Because
give them to them.
Because if you're still undecided now, what else are you undecided about? Well, are you fucking kidding me?
Are you talking like moderates? Is that kind of what we're saying? An undecided is somebody who's kind of moderate? Because I'm looking for that.
Trans.
Huh?
Future trans. Future trans, yeah.
Because they're wishy-washy.
I'm looking for that book, Great Moderates in History. I haven't found that one yet. I've checked everywhere.
What about you know, I was thinking about that the other day too, about the undecided and trans, and I thought to myself, the scourge of
trans voters.
The scourge of fucking this trans fucking movement that we never knew about until the last couple of years. Who was the first guy that performed a surgery like that? Like, who started this fucking mess? And it was a guy named Elmer Belt, a urologist.
Oh boy!
I think in like 1966, something like that.
I'm surprised it goes back that far, but
that guy needs a fucking rotten hell.
Yeah.
Tony, got news for you.
Yeah.
In the 1920s or 30s, in Germany, they were doing that. That's where they first started. Like, you know, they always talk about, you know, what were these books being burned, right?
Yeah.
Well, what it was a bunch of youth, German youth in the 30s, went and raided this institute. It was all about trans, and all about LGBT and all that stuff. And they took all their literature and they burned it. You know, and so like they basically burned their gay porn stash.
Did you say Utes?
These Utes, yeah. These German Utes came and they burned these degenerates' gay porn stash.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And that, you can look that up. That was happening. Some institute in Berlin, I think it was. And so that's where it came from. And then somehow it made it over here.
I think the first, this was the first surgery in the U.S., I think, that I'm talking about.
Now,
I wasn't aware.
Where was this doctor from?
I think he went to Johns Hopkins.
So a big...
Huh? Yeah.
A big school in a very liberal city, right?
Yeah, and the next guy going into the surgical room for a trans operation is going to be Emhoff, Kamala's husband. Did you hear that when he got the call that she got tapped to be VP by Biden, by Zombie Joe, he was at a Soul Cycle, which is a spin class. First of all, what the fuck are men doing in a spin class? I mean, I'm sorry. So he's in a spin class in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he's in a spin class in West Hollywood with a gay couple. He's hanging out with them. Okay, I mean.
Yeah.
And he somehow gets flagged down. They said, hey, you know, you left your phone in the limousine or whatever, and there's a bunch of text messages on there or phone calls. Of course, he runs to his phone, terrified, figuring it's probably her.
Do you think he ran with his hands like squishing?
Oh, for sure. Out of Soul Cycle, yeah. Finds out that she called him 100 times, whatever it was. And he calls her back.
And she said, where you been, bitch?
Exactly. She said, where in the fuck have you been? That's how she spoke to him.
Yeah.
He admitted it. Word for word. And she said, I need you. Get to work, bitch.
Did you add the bitch or did she?
I added it, but I'm sure she said it. All right, get to work, bitch. And he said, yes, ma'am. Whatever you need, I'm fucking there.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, he was already doing the work for the Harris campaign because in West Hollywood, right? That's where you get like your men that vote Harris. They're like gays. They're like trans.
But there's a lot of this shit.
They're like
because
pedophiles.
the whole statement about, I fucking have always hated this. Happy wife, happy life. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What about happy husband, happy life?
Well, that's a boomerism.
I fucking hate it. And
You know why? But the boomers they say hard times make strong men.
Yeah.
And strong men make good times.
Yeah.
And then good times
But what is with
make weak men.
Yeah.
And so these weak men who make the hard times come back again. These weak men are the ones that are saying shit like that. Happy wife, happy life. Those are the weak men. And then, they got these fucking men wearing pig pussy hats and voting for fucking Biden and Harris.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking hard times again, where then you need to have fucking a, recalibration where you get strong men again. Because they fuck shit up. This country's fucked up right now. It's fucked up big time because of all these weak ass men that fucking just deferred their fucking masculine authority and let these fucking women call the shots. And their number one fucking shot is what? Kill babies. I want to kill babies.
Yeah,
That's my number one fucking issue. Can I kill babies? Do I have a right to kill babies? Yeah.
That's the only freedom they fucking talk about.
Yeah.
It's a freedom to take a life.
Yeah.
What about the freedom of the baby? That doesn't matter, right?
It's not even like it's just one of their issues. No, it's their number one fucking only issue.
That's all they fucking care about.
Yeah.
That's all she talks about, that bitch. But about men always fearing their fucking wives.
Well, real quick.
Go ahead.
They had that recent thing. I don't know if you heard it,
What?
but she was talking about that, about abortion, what do they call it? Abortion rights, whatever they call it. Whatever their fucking...
Reproductive rights, they call it.
Reproductive rights, right?
How sick is that?
She was at a fucking
Which doesn't even
rally.
make any
How
sense because they want to kill
It's sick.
the
It's
reproduction.
contradictory.
It's
horrible.
no reproduction, yeah.
Horrible.
So so she's talking about reproductive rights, and then somebody yelled out in the crowd, "Jesus is Lord."
Oh, yeah, I heard
Yeah.
about this.
And then she said, "Oh, honey, you're in the wrong place."
Yeah. Threw his
Right?
ass out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't be a Christian and be a
well, it's
heretic.
funny. It's funny when they talk about the freedom to do what you want with your own body, but they were the first ones mandating vaccines, sticking a fucking needle in your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
they
was no
talked about
freedom. Yeah,
Freedom.
a couple of years ago, there was no freedom.
Yeah, but there's no freedom for the unborn child.
No.
Right? Whose heart is beating. And
The government is meant to protect the people that are not protected. I mean, unborn child is probably the most vulnerable of.
Well,
life.
when I hear them speak too, I mean, the fact that they are okay with saying, like, they speak about our side as the enemy, and they say, the pro-life people. Think about what you said. You hate pro-life people. Pro-life. Like, that's us.
Like you're against
life. You're against fucking life. And I love when they try to say, when they make their fucking argument, they say they'll say he's pro-life or she's pro-life, and they'll say they're even against abortion if you were raped or it was from incest, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you say to them, the way to nail their ass to the wall is say, okay, I tell you what, we'll give you that. Okay, because you're making that the big deal. You're stressing that as the extreme. Okay, you know what? We'll give you that. We'll let you do it. I'm not saying that we would, but just as a trick, right? You just say, you know what? We'll give you that. We'll say, okay, it's okay to have an abortion if
that's your
if
exception.
you were raped, it was incest. That's the exception. Are you ready to outlaw abortion now? Fuck no. Those people will never, no matter what, under any circumstance.
Yeah,
That is their God. Abortion.
They bring up those
That's all they care about.
little percentages just to try and make some kind of point that's not even based in reality.
That's right.
Life
is life.
Yeah.
Period. And one day, I will tell a fucking story, a personal story. I don't know if you guys know. One day on this show, I'll fucking say it. 'Cause it needs to be fucking said.
How about right now?
I'm gonna fucking say it. I'm ready. The other things to get to tonight, that's something I want to spend time on.
Yeah.
We're talking about soldiers, Tony. When you're talking about soldiers and you're talking about how they need to be honored, they need to be respected.
Yep.
They should be especially the combat ones should be the first in line
Mhm.
for getting these tax benefits.
Mhm.
You know what? I think that it's good that Trump is touching upon that because you really think about it.
Don't touch upon it. Do it. But go ahead.
Well, he's slowly doing the art of the deal, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
But what I'm going to say is this. It's good because our soldiers have been vilified and diminished for so long and made to be something to like mock. Like the military now that is all woke and LGBT, like who could hold their head up? Who could hold their head up pride?
You hear what I said?
Yeah. They're standing in front of a pride flag on a base in fucking Manila.
Tear all that shit down.
Right?
Yeah.
No more pride flags on military bases.
Yeah, that's the international flag of antichristism.
Sure.
That's the flag around
it
the
is.
world. That's going to be if the Antichrist comes to power, that's going to be his fucking flag, right? And here's the thing. They even made military veterans on the terrorist watch list as to watch domestic terrorists #1 because they know that these people have some means to get physical, to get weapons or violence or whatever. So that's why I think they took so much effort to try and degrade and downtrod our veterans because they know that they want to make them the enemy, and they have for a long time, and it's for a reason because they want this country weak and easy to take out. And they've been working systematically to demoralize and to denigrate. And so if Trump's willing to start turning things around and give them some confidence because they didn't target them for nothing.
Yeah, but going back though again to men who fear their wives, Kellyanne Conway, isn't she like a very close advisor to
close
Trump?
advisor in their first term,
But she's been with him all along. She's not one of the ones that
helped
betrayed
him
him or
get
left and
elected.
came back. She's been with him all along, right?
Yeah.
They're very, very, very close. She just gave an interview where she said that Trump calls his wife his top confidant and counselor in the White House. And she said that it's her opinion that he consistently wants and that he even fears her. So we all know that Melania is not conservative. She's laid it out in her fucking book.
She's not an American.
She's not even a fucking American. She wasn't fucking born here, And, you talk about all these things, but if women like her and his daughter are bending his ear all the time, like he gave this talk the other day where he said his daughter was hounding him about some giveaway, and he gave it, and then I think he said she told him it wasn't enough to double up on it, triple down, and he fucking did because he wanted to make his daughter happy.
Yeah.
So
he can't be a bitch made man.
He can't.
He can't be. But speaking of Kellyanne Conway, I do remember something. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember in the first term, I think her husband was an anti-Trumper.
He is.
And he
They're
was
divorced over it.
I think he was a Filipino guy.
he's terrible.
And he was like very woke-ish.
And their daughter turned out to be a big mess too.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I don't think he's Filipino. I think he was
mixed. I think.
Huh?
I think he's right. I think he was mixed.
Yes.
Yeah. He was Asian. I think.
And so here she is, supposedly this conservative woman. But really,
exactly.
How conservative is she?
That's my point.
If she's marrying some fucking guy that's like a bitch and doesn't like Trump because he's fucking saying mean things, whatever their fucking issue.
I know, but they split it. They're divorced over it now, though.
Yeah, but
she shouldn't even fucking been married.
Yeah. How did she end up with a guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he was left completely.
Yeah.
Right.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Completely, off the charts. So how does that make any sense? It makes you wonder.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's my point. It makes me fucking wonder. And I wonder if it was her fucking idea to send him to McDonald's and fry up, I'll work the fucking fryer. What is this? I mean, it's like this. I know he's charming. I say it all the time. Look, Trump is a man of the people. No matter how wealthy he is, he comes across that way. He knows how to relate to people. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
He seems like the kind of guy you can hang out with and talk with and spend time with and enjoy. I feel like though he reacted to her. I felt like she dictated terms, and then he felt like he had to run to McDonald's, work the fryer. This is not. I mean, what is this? Like a competition now? Who worked at McDonald's?
Yeah.
I mean, or who makes better fries?
He was
I mean,
trolling her, Tony. He was trolling her.
I don't like
because she tried to seem like she was a woman of the people. Oh, I used to work in Pennsylvania at that McDonald's. And so she was the one who put that out there, trying to make herself a woman of the people. And then they uncovered, like, no, that's a lie. No record of her working there. So then in order to, like, play along with that and make fun of it, tongue-in-cheek, he goes to work at McDonald's. And I think it's good because he really likes McDonald's. I don't know why. He likes it. He likes McDonald's, right? He likes to connect with the common man, the working man, the blue-collar people. He does that
There's
very
other ways
well.
to do it.
Right? And then he also baited them because they say the rule about the trolls
It's desperate, though. It's a desperate. It looks desperate.
Don't feed the trolls.
It looks desperate.
What did the left do? They fed the troll. They bit hook, line, and sinker. They're losing their fucking minds. They're like, what's he hoping to accomplish? Why is he doing that? And the more they're talking about him, the more they're feeding the troll.
I
He's
understand.
got a big smile on his face.
Listen, I worked at a fast food restaurant when I was a kid. I love McDonald's. I either, I have a thing for fucking junk food. I love either junk food or food that's made of the highest quality, like best ingredients, healthy food, like good quality food, like the restaurant.
I like old-fashioned junk food.
But I don't like anything in the middle. It's either the junk food or, But
Trump didn't need to do that.
I don't want to see my commander-in-chief in the drive-through fucking window.
He's winning now. That's the thing. People don't understand. He's winning now. He needs to be focused on the issues and remind us of how he was when he was president.
It's a cheap stunt, I feel.
We've got a lot of cheap morons in this country. We do. And he's got to reach them in some way. And they say he's got 170 IQ, Tony.
Well,
Can you imagine?
I think he calculated it, and I think it played out well.
Can you imagine General Washington doing that? Because he's going to be commander-in-chief, right? Yeah. Imagine General Washington do it. Imagine General Grant doing that. Yeah. Imagine Dwight Eisenhower doing that. General Patton doing that.
No, they wouldn't.
Imagine Julius Caesar doing that. Fuck no. They don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But what do we got? We don't have a country like that used to be, like it used to be like that, Tony. This is the country we have now. This is what we got now, and he's got to get in so he can make some changes, And he compromises a little bit. Like, he's the billionaire that goes and works at McDonald's, but you know what? I think he's a master troll, and I think he's good at poking fun. A lot of New Yorkers are. They know how to make fun of people. They know how to push people's buttons. I don't
know. I feel like dignity is important.
All right. Well, we have concerns about Trump.
I feel standards are important.
Yeah, exactly. We have concerns about Trump. You've mentioned him in previous podcasts. The people he was the
lockdown president. I said every time he was in command of this country.
Yeah.
And he empowered Fauci, the little tiny dictator.
Yeah.
That I'm embarrassed that shares my fucking name and heritage. He empowered him, turned the keys over to him.
But that shows the deep state.
And I always
powerful.
I always say I disqualify anybody from running from office ever if you have run a business or you have run any level of government for any period of time, and if you had shut down for 15 seconds or supported the lockdowns, you are disqualified from running from office. Period.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Look at the people we're worried about the people he's surrounding himself with now. We've gone through this before. So, he gets elected in a couple weeks, takes over in January, and if he shifts and really focuses on the things that we need him to focus on, okay.
But the problem is that they keep talking about this blue wall. Why the fuck is there a blue wall? Like why is there? Why do they have a wall and we don't have a fucking wall?
I don't understand that. What is it?
So it's basically 18 states and DC that have over and over and over again gone Democrat, I think from 1992 to 2012. Okay. So they always count on the blue wall holding up.
It's like
why don't we have a fucking wall?
It's like a defensive wall. You're thinking.
But I mean, why is this country has changed so much, right? That just goes to show you. They said from election to election, the numbers of uneducated white men voting is declining by almost 3% by every election. Yeah. Their plan is working. And that's why there's now a blue wall. Should be a fucking red wall everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
There should be no Democrats, right?
Well, what about the colors? I mean,
okay, so the colors are another thing, red and blue colors. This whole thing, this whole BS charade, the fucking left stole the color fucking blue from us. It was always blue.
Yeah.
Blue was always associated with the conservatives and the Republicans.
It will be noted that Jimmy Carter has won so far just these 4 states and the District of Columbia: Georgia, West Virginia, Minnesota, and Rhode Island, and the District of Columbia. And all of those blue states are the ones won by Ronald Reagan tonight.
Starting with Lincoln.
Yeah.
And and blue is a more expensive color to even make. And it's more costly, it's more difficult, and blue is associated with the Republicans since Lincoln, because in the Civil War the Union soldiers wore dark blue uniforms,
blue coats,
so it was fucking blue. And red was for Democrats because red is associated with Communist Party, radicalism, socialism, right? That whole fucking movement.
Yeah, and it still is.
Yeah. But over time, they slowly, these media outlets slowly conspired to steal the color blue from us and label Democrats fucking blue and give us red, right?
Sleep at the wheel on that one.
They allowed it to happen.
Well, they've always had the media, so.
And now they, I think the election between George Bush Jr. and Gore, it was solidified at that point. It was red and blue, and it's been red and blue ever since. But of course, they got their fucking way. We don't fight to take it back. And like you said, Trump should do what?
Well, I mean, if Trump gets elected, maybe the first thing he should do when he's writing those, day one executive orders and everything, maybe he should change the blue to red.
Or how about just red, white, and blue? How about the Republicans take red, white, and blue? Because we're the Americans.
Take them all.
Red, white,
take
and
them
blue.
all.
Well, red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Give them pink.
Yeah.
Give them fucking pink,
That's right.
I
get that.
They can have fucking pink and we get red, white, and
blue.
blue.
Okay, but red, white, and blue kind of, to me, signifies some unity, and I don't want to be unified with them.
We're the real Americans.
Yeah, that's
they're the fake Americans.
There's no unity.
No, they don't get any colors from the
flag.
flag.
They don't even like the flag.
They don't get any colors from the
flag.
Give
them the rainbow flag.
Give them what?
Give them the rainbow flag.
There you go, rainbow
That's
flag.
A perfect one.
That's even better than the pink flag.
There you go.
Give them the rainbow flag, you pick any color you want.
Take them all.
But there's the blue wall they fucking talk about. Why do they get to have a blue fucking wall? We don't have a fucking wall.
So that's what we need, Tony.
We can't even get a fucking border wall. What?
We need a media that now, when it shows the elections as the states, it shows the states that are going for MAGA, for Trump, for Republican, red, white, and blue, and then the states that are going fucking shit-lib Democrat.
I love that.
Put rainbow flag on that.
That's the best idea.
Those states should be rainbow flag.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
We should figure out a way to do that.
Well, we know. Hey, no. Our own. Yeah, on election night.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do that.
Toast.
That's a great idea.
Can we get Azuri blue?
That's what we're gonna do.
Just for
Azuri blue. Yeah. The little Italian color in there.
Well, tell people what Azuri is. People may not know what that is.
It's kind of, But I think about the blue fucking wall, and then the other thing is the block, the Hispanic block.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, look, why are they always catering to the Hispanic bloc? What about everybody else? What about the Italians?
Yeah.
What about the German Americans? What about the Irish Americans? What about the English Americans?
Yeah.
Do we fucking even matter anymore?
Yeah.
Well, we assimilated.
Well,
we assimilated, Tony. That's why. Right?
Okay, so the assimilated Americans should be the ones that they should be most concerned about, not the ones that don't know the fucking issues.
Yeah.
Right?
So because of like whatever you want to call it, cuckery or softy or weak men, we let our border get wide open. Even Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr. back in the 80s were debating about that, and they both were on the same page about letting illegals come in. So that's the reality, and you got a lot of people in Central and South America that are coming here. North America, specifically the United States, very small area, comparatively.
Yeah.
And you got all these people coming. So now, once they're here, they're like, well, you know what? I guess what these weak Republicans are doing is if you can't beat them, join them. But they never even tried to beat them. Ronald Reagan wasn't trying to beat them. Nobody was trying to beat them. Nobody was trying to stop the invasion. Nobody was trying to stop putting a cap on on immigration. You know, I had an Italian friend. I love him dearly. Sings the opera, baritone. His friend dated my cousin in Italy. He was here maybe, I don't know, 70 years ago. He started talking that liberal kind of Marxist fucking bullshit about, and the money is the bad, evil, cause the problem. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just because he didn't have it. Because, like, Italy's socialist, right?
Yeah.
All of Europe has kind of gone socialist.
Yeah, sure.
High taxes and shit. And I said, you need to stop that fucking shit. I said, you need to shut the fuck up. If you want to, because he was trying to become an American. So you want to become American, you don't fucking pull that shit about, money is not the problem. It's the people that are taking it from you is the problem. And I said, so don't think, I said, you're just mad about money being a problem because you don't have it. But don't bring that fucking communist bullshit here.
Yeah.
And love him dearly, Italian, you know, we got the same blood, you know, but I'm willing to check him on that because you know what? The Bible says that the Lord chases the son that he loves, gives a spanking, right? I'm not going to let him continue in that dysfunction and become one of these fucking leftist commies like we got so many right now in America. So I stopped it right away. And I got no loyalty to an Italian if they're going to come here and become a fucking leftist commie.
Yeah.
And he
If you're a leftist, you're a leftist. I don't give a fuck.
out.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck where you come from. But it's like Italians don't even fucking matter anymore. You know, I was thinking about it. People don't understand when they talk about lynchings, the history of the lynchings, for example. Yeah. The largest number of lynchings happened to Italians. They lynched, I forget when it was. I think it was the 1800s, late 1800s. They lynched 12 Sicilians at one time.
Now, where did this happen?
Never happened
in this country.
The U.S. Yep.
They were angels, Tony, and they didn't deserve that because these Sicilians, I'm sure, were misunderstood.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Can we get reparations for that?
Exactly.
That's a group I kind of qualify for.
But you know they keep talking about Trump now that he's gonna use the Insurrection Act, you know, and round up the enemy.
18 something or other.
You know what? Put me in charge of that.
Yeah,
I'll round him up.
fucking sign me up.
I'll fucking round him up. And putting them in internment camps.
Can I get a black hood and I can be the executioner?
But when they
hey, look,
you look good in a black hood, I think.
You got a gladius I can borrow?
You know what? Just wear the glasses.
No, but a gladius. Like,
a gladius. Yeah.
I want one of those.
Oh, the gladius. Oh, yeah.
Eisenhower,
with a description that says Roman rules on it. But
President Eisenhower took care of some immigration problems back in the day. So young people who might be viewing this don't know.
They don't know.
Because they don't teach history anymore.
Yeah.
They don't teach it.
He pulled it off.
Yeah.
Mass deportations. He fucking
Mass
did
deportations.
But I'm talking about internment camps. When they talk about him possibly setting up internment camps, again, they forget about the Italians. They only talk about the Japanese.
Right.
At least 600,000 Italian Americans, many of them naturalized citizens. Think about it. They were here. They went through the ceremony. They became American citizens. These people too experienced racism and persecution during World War II. But you know what? Yeah, we don't fucking take it that way. We're like, we're not victims. We don't act like victims, and that's why they don't pay attention.
That's more than how many were interned in Japanese internment camps? Was it only 100,000, or was it?
How many Japanese?
Yeah,
at least I would think. My step grandfather was actually, because he spoke Italian, I think during World War II. Yeah, this is my step grandfather. I think he was put in charge of like standing guard at one of the Italian internment camps. Yeah, you know. Because he spoke Italian, he can communicate with them. He knew the culture.
Well, you never hear about that. The only thing I ever really
they used to call Italians subhuman and undesirable, and they wouldn't fucking hire them. You know, but
I like it when they call me WAP. When they call me a WAP, it brings a smile to my face.
We don't give a we don't care. We're proud of who we are. Call us whatever the fuck you want. We grease balls, Dagos, guineas. Yeah.
Just call us.
I was at the restaurant one night, and I'm sitting in the back talking to Will, I think, and the kitchen doors are closed. And I hear this guy in the front. he comes in, and I just heard him say, "Who's the owner of this place? It's got to be a Ginzo. It's got to be a real Ginzo running this fucking place." And did I come out pissed off, swinging at the guy? I came out and gave the guy a big fucking hug.
Yeah, I'm a Ginzo.
We become friends.
Yeah.
We've been friends ever since. But
that's awesome.
But I think about like he declared Roosevelt at the time. Think about that. Roosevelt, Democrat, a socialist
Democrat.
He declared German Americans, Italian Americans, Japanese Americans, alien enemies. Right? And think about, even after doing that and interning them, Italian Americans, I think 1.5 million of them served in World War II. And they had at least, I think, 14 Italian Medal of Honor winners. Again, we're not victims.
Including who? Who did you shake his hand? Zamborini.
Zamborini. He was a Medal of Honor winner, but he should have been. But Barcelona, as you know, they named part of the San Diego Freeway, the 405 freeway after him.
There's a section of
Medal of Honor, amazing man.
Actually, in Los Angeles area.
But this is what our country did back then to win fucking wars. We didn't care about being called names.
And you know what those Italians did? They rose to the challenge. They proved themselves. They said, "Oh, you think I don't love this country? Okay, I'll show you." And they joined and they served.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they should have fucking interned every communist sympathizer. They should have interned them.
But during World War II, we were allied with the commies, Tony.
Well,
you gotta remember. They gloss over that, but Tony, the Soviets were our allies.
And fucking Patton was right about everything he said.
He was right.
But the thing is that Italians too. People don't even know this. Italians in the mob served this country.
Yeah.
They agreed. They actually volunteered to patrol the docks in New York on all over the East fucking coast because they fucking knew that the enemy was sending in submarines and spies on the docks. They kept fucking order, and I think that was a big reason why the government backed off and left them alone. It was like a trade, but they even loved their country, but again, that's what we did then. You know, we interned you. Sorry. That's how it fucking works. So we're not taking any fucking chances.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it happened even now, me being an Italian, when I'm a first generation on my dad's side, second generation on my mom's side, they probably wouldn't intern me. But if I was an Italian, if I had just gotten here and became naturalized, and we were at war with fucking Italy, and they wouldn't to intern me, if I loved this country enough, I would say, you know what? I understand.
Yeah.
I fucking understand. And it wasn't like they put them in fucking prison camps. They had places to fucking live. There were barracks.
Because you're looking at the
they were furnished.
Good, the big picture.
You love your country enough, you're willing to make the sacrifice.
Like these
and you
women,
understand.
These Republican women should give up voting.
Yep.
So that we can win elections. And they should look at the bigger picture. Just like you're saying, you're willing to look at the bigger picture. These women should say, I know that most women are voting shit-lived fucking Democrat because they want their fucking abortions and everything.
I'm going to set them straight now. If it was reversed and men voted like women do, and women were the conservatives, and women would ensure if only women voted and men weren't allowed to, and I was assured that women would vote the way I want them to vote, meaning I would get the country that I fucking want, I'd give up my fucking right to fucking vote.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? I love my country enough. That's the fucking test, and that's what they don't understand.
Yeah, that's the standard.
You know, but if I had my way though, there would only be one fucking party. It'd be the mega ultra nationalist party.
Yeah,
that's what it fucking be. And
AKA the fuck around and find out party.
I like that. I like that a lot too. And then it would be.
What do you think?
I like that.
What kind of party is it?
It's a good party.
What is it? What kind of? I forgot what I said.
I forgot what you said too.
What was it? What did I say? It was like something with F words. Doug doesn't use the F words like you and me.
Doug, how come you use that? You know, we were talking about this, Kim and I, the other day.
It could
you
be
haven't used the F word one time during our show.
It could be my conservative
my
conservative New England upbringing. Could be.
I think he's afraid of his mom because
your mom would approve of that or what?
No, she wouldn't mind. As long as I don't overdo it.
But think about that. If we only had...
What was the name you gave it again?
The fuck around, find out party.
Yeah.
That's what we need to start acting like.
Okay, we could have that party, and we could have the party that I talked about, and let them battle it out.
Yeah.
Or they could be the same.
Yeah.
The GOP is the Republican Party. The Grand Old
They'd
Party.
be fighting it out just to show who's more conservative. It wouldn't be like fucking now, where one side is trying to prove how fucking left they are, and then one side's trying to prove how conservative they are. No.
No. Right now, one side's trying to prove how left they are, and the other side's trying to prove how moderate they are. Like fucking J.D. Vance, and we're the party if we can get along and kumbaya.
Yeah.
Right? That's like scary.
No unity. You
Well,
got to
they call
defeat
me
them.
chauvinist. They call me fascist. If they want to call me a fascist, and that means like I want stone-walled fucking borders, and I want English-only language, a dominant, unbeatable fucking military, severe punishment for criminals and pro-communists and anti-Americans, then I'm a fucking fascist. I'll take it.
So you realize that if Kamala Harris wins, which hopefully that won't happen, and they implement this plan, you will be interned for what you're saying right now.
Hey, you fucking don't know what? If that happens, I'll wear it as a badge of honor.
Absolutely.
And then Kim's
And
gonna
you
come
won't
and fucking
stop
break
either.
me out. And back to where we go again.
We'll see where I'm at. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we know you're gonna be. You're gonna be with us. Yeah. But yeah, these fucking women who are calling me a chauvinist and a fascist or whatever they're calling me. Did you guys? I'll give you another example of where this country's going, because we're ceding control to them in the voting booths. Did you guys see all the cleavage that they're showing now in the
Where?
The
I missed
Victoria's Secret, they revived their big runaway show. Remember they used to have the angels. Did you see all the cleavage?
I feel like
I haven't noticed.
I didn't see it either because there wasn't any.
okay. I didn't pay attention because I think they're like, aren't they using like trans?
Yeah, there fucking wasn't any.
Troons and stuff.
Yeah, they're using
Well,
trans. What?
Plus size models. I
Plus
guess
size,
now.
but also
Hey,
even the
nothing wrong with
women.
that.
Yeah.
Even the women they used to call the fucking angels from the past.
Yeah.
They now won't allow them to wear push-up bras.
Yeah.
They won't allow them to spray over their imperfections, whether it be a tan line in the wrong place or whatever. They're showing off their birthing scars. I mean, it's just there's no more look what you can attain if you work really, really hard on taking care of your health and your body. There's no more about. There's no more of that. It's all about we want to make you feel good.
Yeah.
They want us to have nothing to fight for.
Nothing.
Nothing to aspire to.
Yeah, and then that's leading to these women that are now these fucking trans. They're holding these ceremonies within a stone throw of the Vatican now on these barges.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Did you hear about this?
I haven't heard this.
These like fringe wannabe Catholic groups. They're not officially Catholics, and they are ordaining illegally. They're ordaining these women to be priests.
Yeah.
Fake priests.
Fake priests. Yeah.
Are they trans?
Some of them are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
Imagine
are.
the smell.
I think the woman. What?
Imagine the smell.
On a fucking barge.
Well, you know what? That's what you get for playing God
Yeah.
and trying to like change what God gave you. So
Well, they're using the same argument that people use against us because of what we say. They're calling the church 2,000 years of the church chauvinist, saying that they treat women that consider them inferior, subordinate, and
just different
and invisible even.
How about different?
Yeah. I mean, you're going against human nature, I guess. I don't really understand it. You need a stronger pope too, by the way.
Well, 270 or they've ordained 270 women and trans from 14 countries already.
Yeah. So
and they're doing this because they really think that they can that by doing this they're going to chip away. They're going to chip away at the Catholic fucking rule book, right? And eventually they're going to get weakened. Those in charge of the Pope's already weakened, as you know.
Well, he's a weak pope, so it's kind of like the same problem we have here. We have a weak president, and a lot of the stuff is coming in.
They want
pope, same thing.
Yeah. They want gays, they want lesbians, they want trans, they want divorce, they want remarried people. Look, when I go to some of these Catholic churches, when I go to mass, I want to go to the most conservative church that I can possibly find, old school, where they don't give communion in the hand, where they don't have women at the front of the church handing out communion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
Where they have guys playing guitars and fucking drums. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see altar girls. I was an altar boy. I don't know if you guys were. Were you guys altar
I was, yeah.
You were altar boy?
Yeah.
I used to love being in the back, smelling the wine. I'd always, before I had to pour the wine, I'd
Did you
go back
taste?
there, sniff it. No, but I'd sniff it. I love the smell of the wine. But yeah, I don't want to see female altar girls. I don't want to see altar girls. That to me, it repels me every time. I never go back to that church if I see it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm the only one there complaining about it. I fly into a rage when I see it. But like you said, Francis, Pope, the so-called Pope, he says the church is a woman. That's what he has said. The church is a woman.
Yeah.
The bride of Christ. It's biblical.
Does he have to say it?
But the head of the church
You know
is
why he's saying
the
it.
groom. Yeah, he's saying it for other reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, you know why he's saying it.
Fanuc.
Yeah, and now men are so, because of all this beatdown of fucking men, men are now even, there was a study that just came out. They did a survey, and men are now afraid to perform CPR on women. So women have done such a good job beating the shit out of fucking men. Men would just rather just let them fucking die.
Yeah.
That reminds you like when they're in the gym, and the women are working out of the gym, and then they get like a little overcome by the weight, and the men just ignore them.
They don't want to help anymore because they're afraid to be.
Help them,
Yeah, because they're going to be accused of harassment. They don't want to touch them with their lips. They don't want to press on their chest.
Yeah. It's almost like you have like a signed release before you can help them with CPR.
Well, I get this. So like some woman's struggling with the weight, right, at the gym, and then finally the guy comes and helps her out after seeing her squirm, right?
Yeah.
And he lifts the weight off her, and the first thing she says, "I have a boyfriend."
Is that what happens?
Well, kind of figuratively, but
Yeah.
like guys
I would
don't
ask
want to
you,
have
is he
anything
here?
The gym.
at the gym with these women because these ditzy broads are sitting there trying to fucking show themselves off and then act like they're creeped out simultaneously.
Gym in the old days were a place where you met possibly your future spouse.
Really?
Oh yeah, a girlfriend. Yeah, exactly. Everybody was there to get fit. People would talk to each other. Now you go, everybody's got fucking earphones on. I remember one time a few years back, I was at the gym, and there were a bunch of young guys in there. I think they were probably first year of college, maybe seniors in high school. They were all working out. I'm at the gym lifting weights, and these two young girls walk in. They must have been 19 or 20 years old, I think, or around the same age as the guys. And they were dressed in kind of revealing outfits, for the gym. And they were looking for attention, obviously. They looked like twins. I mean, and I looked around to see if any of the guys were paying attention to them, just to see the change in how men are now. And these guys couldn't care fucking less.
Yeah.
They didn't glance at them once. They didn't go in the corner and have a discussion and look over, as we would have done back in the day, And I thought to myself, my God, what has happened? These guys are more concerned. These guys are more interested in fucking video games. And I remember my buddy, a guy I grew up with, great friends, he told me one night he came home. His son at the time was, I think, mid-20s. And his son was staying at the house. And he comes home from work, and he goes up to the room where his son was, opens it was a Friday night, 10 o'clock, I think it was. He got home late. Opens the door, and his son is in there with his buddies, and they're playing video games.
On a Friday night?
And he says, what the fuck are you guys doing here on a Friday night playing? Back in the day, on a Friday night, me and Tony would be out chasing you-know-what. Right? And I thought to myself, he and I had this talk, and he was depressed about it. because that's not what you want to see in your son. Yeah, you don't want him to be a bad kid going out there for the wrong reasons, obviously, but he just wanted his son to be a young man and act like it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, you know, and you know, in the battle that we're fighting to take all this stuff back, to become vintage America again, it's going to require an intolerant fucking battle. And Kim and I talk about that a lot, right? The side that's most intolerant always fucking wins. And I was gonna tell you, I was thinking about you the other day because I saw this story about this college football game, and I think it was between Texas and Georgia, two top teams, right? And they have fanatical fans. I mean, you're talking about 80, 90, 100,000 fans in the stands. They go nuts. College football is so different than the NFL. The kids are into it, you know.
Yeah.
And so the referees threw a flag on a play against, I think, the Texas player, and it was a bullshit call, and people knew that it could cost the team a lot because it was a BS call. So they throw the flag, and usually fans will just accept it, just take it, shut the fuck up, and just move on with their fucking lives. Well, these fans did not. These fans lost their fucking minds, and they threw so much. They made so much noise and threw so much shit onto the field at the refs. Within minutes, the refs suddenly huddled up, conferred, and changed that fucking call.
And there is a flag on the field back in the secondary, so hold on.
Pass interference. Offensive. Number 7. The ball be placed at the spot of foul with an automatic first down.
The entire...
Yeah, the students are now raining bottles down, and this is unfortunate. This is going to delay the game. That's the student section down there in the corner. They're not going to win the Taco Bell contest at this rate.
No.
There are hundreds of water bottles in that end zone.
Leave it alone, move on with the game.
There was no defensive pass interference.
Oh, my goodness.
The ball will be at the 9-yard line.
Kirby Smart cannot believe it. So Bill Lamagna, a discussion. They have changed the call, which is an enormous moment in this game.
Well, that's how our election needs to go if there's any more shenanigans.
That's exactly how it needs to fucking go.
Right?
But not. But again, not if we're raising men like the men like the young men I just talked about at the gym. My friend's son at the time. You know, and you see that now. Even, you know, speaking of sports, the fucking Dodgers are in the World Series now, and they were showing how this drives me fucking nuts. First of all, why in baseball do they celebrate after winning a fucking playoff series? It's not even the World Series. Like, each playoff series, they play like 3 of them, and each time they fucking win, they go into the locker room and they spray champagne everywhere like they won the fucking champion. Like they won a world championship.
Because it's not over yet. They got to keep fighting. They got
What do they celebrate?
Yeah.
In football, they won't even when they play a playoff game, even an AFC or NFC championship game. If they win that trophy, they won't even touch it. They don't want to see it because they only want one trophy, and it's the championship trophy. That's the only thing that matters to them. And then the other thing is, too, when they're in the locker rooms, and I'm sure they do this in football now with how young men are today in all the sports, when they spray the champagne, when they go into the locker room, right, the people who organize these fucking locker rooms and stadiums, they already know that they're going to win. So they load the champagne up. They have it back in the locker rooms waiting for them. So when they arrive, they can pop them and celebrate. Well, now, in addition to the champagne, they include ski goggles. So they put ski goggles. So you see all these fucking men with ski goggles on, then spraying the champagne to protect their fucking eye. Back in the day,
this is OSHA probably got their hands into this.
Hey, that's a good call. Back in the day, nobody fucking wore goggles.
No.
Nobody wore that shit.
Well, all this
champagne in the eyes? Fuck yeah, bring it. What?
They got it now. The losing teams should be celebrating with champagne too.
Oh, yeah.
You're right?
Yeah.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Absolutely.
But you know, what you were saying a minute ago, backing up, when you talked about that, how like men are getting weak playing the games and everything, it reminded me of this meme I came across just about 5 days ago, where it talked about like tyrants in, I'm trying to remember what country it was, but basically what it said was that basically they forbid the slaves to exercise and use weapons and whatnot because they didn't want them to get so strong they could overthrow them or overpower them. And then the meme shows like these soy boys sitting there playing their little video games. Like right now we got tyrants that are basically not outright forbidding, but they're corralling our American men to become weak because they don't want us to be able to overthrow any kind of tyranny or oppression. And it was a very powerful meme. I like memes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know you do. It's like men. Doug and I are still trying to figure out what a fucking meme is, but I know you like them. But it's funny because
I'm a meme war veteran, Tony.
I can whatever it takes to win. Use whatever's in the arsenal. But men just are. So many of these fucking men still act like fucking boys. And in baseball, again, I don't even understand why a 50, 67-year-old fucking man, the guy who runs the team, they call the manager, why is he wearing a uniform? Did you notice that?
I could never
dressed as a player.
I could never understand that.
Could you imagine back in the day? I don't know if you know this name, an old football name, Tom Landry. He was a coach at Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Christian man, looked like a general.
Yeah.
Wore a fucking suit,
Nice
fedora,
hat.
tie, just badass. Can you imagine him putting on a football jersey like all these people do in the stands and on the field?
No.
Trying to act like kids. Wearing a jersey with another man's name on the back of it.
No.
Subjecting yourself to another man like that.
He doesn't even have his own name on his jersey or what?
Who?
These managers.
Well, the managers have their name on it, but
they have the name on it. But
it's like are they ready to play the game? Is that why they dress up in the baseball uniform?
They're pretending.
It's like I watch hockey.
Exactly.
I watch a little hockey, and the managers are wearing nice suits, nice Italian shoes and stuff. They're not getting that on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
The baseball manager, he might run out of players. He might have to get in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. That's funny, man. Well, I wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening to another fellow Italian, Giuliani.
Oh, this is sad.
So those bitches, their name Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Okay, they now they have a judge in their pocket, and this judge is now ordering Giuliani to hand them over the keys to his Manhattan, New York penthouse. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you fucking imagine? Because they were defamed. Because you're defamed, you get to have a fucking penthouse? Are you kidding?
This isn't even due process because you get the judgment, right?
It's a landmark building.
It's
beautiful.
You get the bogus judgment, but part of due process is your right to appeal, which he probably
that hasn't even happened yet.
He hasn't appealed yet?
I don't think so, no.
He might have given notification of appeal right away. Trump appealed that humongous, crazy, whatever it was, $500 million judgment, and he won finally. I would think that Giuliani at least has some appeal in place. And so, technically, appeals are supposed to stay any kind of execution of the judgment. So, of course, in New York, they're not playing by any rules anymore.
I can't stand by and watch this. The fact that they're ordering him to turn over his penthouse apartment, other properties,
humiliation.
His humiliation. Exactly.
Yeah. I heard
Mercedes-Benz.
I'd heard it was either his father or grandfather's watch, which was
watch. I'm sure he has.
Well, he had a watch that wasn't worth very much. He said Giuliani said
another watch. I think that was gifted to him and signed by Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah,
like they want that shit too.
Yeah.
And
so what happens if he
appeals
and they take all his stuff?
Yeah.
He's appealing this crazy judgment
because they were
against
defamed
him.
And because they claim they received death threats. Oh, poor
too
baby.
bad.
Look, if that is the measure for how much money you get $150 million. How many death threats did we get at the restaurant when we stood up to the lockdowns?
Yeah.
It was every day by the hundreds.
Those bitches are some
I should get
scandalous
$500 million. Listen, if Trump if Trump gets in office and he decides, you know what, I'm going to step in and fix this shit,
Deploy the Marines.
he'll tell them, look, if you're quiet, we'll pretend this didn't even fucking happen. But if I hear another peep out of you fucking two, okay, the penalty's going to be, you know what, maybe we'll be kind. We'll let you
Guantanamo.
We'll let you work full time as his butlers. You can fucking
Giuliani's
yeah.
Yeah,
you
for
can wash his car, you can clean his
No,
fucking
get
apartment.
them the fuck out of here.
And that's
Send them
it.
to Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
They're not a fucking American anymore.
Yeah, but you
They're
gotta
not
punish
fucking
him.
played by American
You gotta punish
rules.
him a little bit. You gotta set.
Well,
Then we'll send
Guantanamo
him.
Bay.
After a couple weeks, then we'll send him to Guantanamo Bay.
The
It'll
judge
fucking
needs
work.
to be punished too.
Let them be humiliated first.
The
What?
judge needs to be punished too to allow this to
Yeah,
happen.
the
him
fucking
too.
judge. I got to get his fucking name. You know.
Yeah.
So
Is he another one of those Colombians or whatever?
This is a New York City
That
judge
doesn't mean
and
anything. He could
jury,
be from
right?
Colombia.
Yeah.
He could be from fucking Guatemala. He could be from.
Yeah.
He could be from fucking Nigeria, for all we know. You don't know.
yeah, there's a lot of these.
No, I'm
judges
talking
now.
about the judge is a New York City judge, right?
Speaking of judges, did you hear what that fucking judge in L.A. did today with that with the what's it called? The
Menendez.
yeah, with the murders where they shotgun their parents to death.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know that case?
It's the district attorney.
District attorney. Think about that. The district attorney, one of the biggest counties in the country.
Yeah.
And he runs. He's the top enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Of one of the biggest counties in the country. The guy wasn't even fucking born here. He barely speaks English. You hear him speak?
Using science and data, we're crafting thoughtful, humane policies that are helping to build safer and healthier communities across this nation.
That's terrible.
Gascon?
Terrible. Fucking terrible.
Who you talking about? Gascon?
Gascon, yeah.
Gascon.
He's
He's
a
from
Soros
Cuba.
guy.
He's a communist from fucking Cuba.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want to hold any political office, any official office in this country, you have to be born in this fucking country.
Yeah.
People will say to me, well, what if it's a liberal? You know what? Then we'll find a conservative that was born here.
Yeah.
I don't want people born in other countries running. And I didn't even like when Schwarzenegger ran for fucking governor. I didn't care. He was our guy. I didn't give a fuck. And he ended up, it wasn't
He turned
our guy.
out to be a terrible
No.
He was
governor.
terrible. He was a traitor.
He's a Hollywood pussy.
He was a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a traitor. So,
You know, my rule of thumb is you never trust a Kennedy or anyone married to a Kennedy.
that's for damn sure.
You know, you had Maria Shriver.
Yep.
She was on stage with Kamala. I saw some clip. So it's Kamala.
It was a
Maria
town
Shriver-
hall.
A town hall, and then Steve Jobs' wife, who is basically the owner of the Atlantic who tried to do a hit piece on our friend Mickey over there, Ashley Babbitt's mom,
Yep.
and their house, because Atlantic's in that neighborhood. But what I also learned is there's also a picture of Steve Jobs' wife and her widow, and who's that woman that got caught up in the Epstein thing? Ghislaine Maxwell. They're
That
both.
was like
Epstein's-
right-hand man that ran everything for him, right?
Yeah, she was
For
in on it.
his
She's the one
girlfriend.
doing time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're never going to release the names, but she's the one doing time now for the sex trafficking and all that stuff, right? But she was like this with the Atlantic owner Steve Jobs' wife, who's like this with Kamala Harris. There's just 1 degree of separation to all that sick, sexual, trafficking crap, blackmail shit, and it can't be more black and white, Tony. We got a lot of evil people here, and there needs to be some serious shakeups happening because everything is fucked up now. Everything's fucked
Well,
up.
Gascon represents all that.
Yeah.
He's what he did today is exactly what you're going to get with Kamal and all the rest of them. That fucking guy, he's going to resentence them, which means they're going to walk out of fucking prison.
Yeah.
These are two guys that shotgun blasted their parents to fucking death, ambushed them.
Yeah.
And when they shot him, I think they shot him like 16 times. They walked in on them. The parents were sitting there watching TV, kicked the doors open, and blasted them.
Yeah.
They shot the dad. I think they shot him 14 or 15 times. And then when the mother was hanging on to fucking dear life, crawling on the ground, one of the sons walked out, went to the trunk of his car, reloaded, and I'm talking buckshot. This is buckshot. when you want to blow a deer's head off. You know, they go back in and the one son, I forget which one it was, puts the barrel up to her cheek and blows her face off. When the cops showed up on the scene and they were doing a report, the bodies were still there. The dad was sitting on the couch. They blew out their fucking knees. I mean, it was awful. They said that when they were doing the investigative report, while they were in the room with their bodies, the dad's brains fell out of the back of his head onto the floor because he blew out the back of his fucking head. So, but he feels sorry. He feels sorry for these fucking kids.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't kids. They were. I think one was 18 or 19.
Well,
one was 22. They're 50-year-old men now in their 50s.
Yeah.
And he feels sorry. Feels badly for them, and he's leading them out. But again, like you said, he's a Soros-funded candidate. He was from the beginning.
And our Todd Spitzer's not that much different. He feels sorry for the fucking gangbanger from the sick-minded criminals that's punching women with fucking brass knuckles until he got to a man. And then fucking...
He got a mouthful of megaphone.
Got a mouthful of megaphone, but our fucking Republican rhino DA, fucking Todd Spitzer, he's attacking Trump supporters.
Yeah.
You know, he's letting us be attacked with weapons, brass knuckles, and skateboards to the skull. I know a guy who got a skull fracture right down at the pier in HB. 2 guys jumped him for being a Trump supporter. They fractured his skull in front of hundreds of people on video. And what's Todd Spitzer say? Well, not enough evidence to prosecute. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Well, he's trying to prosecute you.
I expect that from LA and I expect that from Gascon. But we got a piece of shit right here that's just as much a piece of shit as fucking Gascon. His name is Todd Spitzer. And I'll say that.
And Todd Spitzer is trying to put you in prison.
Trying to put me in prison for swinging a megaphone
and like I've
at
said,
a guy with brass knuckles coming at me.
And like I've said, if you're against Kim, you're an enemy of ours.
That's
right. So
right.
he's a fucking enemy. He's an enemy within. He's really the enemy within. Because he pretends to be ultra conservative, and we all know he's not.
Yeah.
But what did you say? Don't LA my OC?
Yeah, that's what his motto was for his last election. Don't LA my OC.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Todd? You fucking hate OC because you're attacking people that get run over by people from LA, BLM. They come and they run over people. They run over their legs. They run over their heads. They fucking come down here. They fucking crack people in the head with skateboards. They come after me after they attack women, punch a woman in the ribs. She thinks her ribs are broken. Wow. And you're fucking going after me? You're a fucking piece of shit traitor. You're the enemy, Todd. You're worse. I don't give a fuck about that Trinidad Fernando Molina, that little gangbanger, sick-minded criminal. He's just like a fucking, he might as well be like a fucking little alligator or some fucking inanimate object that like fell on my leg, like a rock rolling off a fucking cliff. I don't blame him. Yeah. I blame Todd for weaponizing this piece of shit gangbanger. Because Todd's the bigger piece of shit.
That's right.
He fucking uses this.
He wields the power, not this fucking punk.
This gangbanger's nothing. He's just a prop. Todd's using him to fucking hurt me because Todd is the fucking enemy. Yeah. Todd is the fucking criminal. Mm-hmm. Todd Spitzer is the fucking criminal. And he fucking needs to be dealt with. And he needs to be fucking dealt with in the courts. He needs to be dealt with in the court of public opinion. He needs to be dealt with by God and by all of everything that you can imagine. He should have nothing coming his way unless he turns from his ways. Todd, you can change your fucking ways.
Do
Todd.
the right fucking thing.
Do the right thing.
Stop being
a piece of shit.
You still have a chance.
You know what? Maybe God will spare you. But as for me, you've put me through 3.5 fucking years. You fucking taken me from my kids. You fucking made me go to 39 fucking court hearings. I've been dealing with this shit since 2021. And you had me going out on a fucking bail. You had me going back and forth to court, dealing with all your fucking lackeys like Judge Murray, married to the FBI agent that fucking was also trying to take me out. You, Todd, you got a lot to answer for because you're a piece of shit, Todd Spitzer. And I'm going to get a fucking billboard or I'm going to get a fucking some kind of big banner. And I'm going to fucking show everybody.
Hey, man.
I'll hold the banner.
What?
I'll hold one corner of the banner.
We'll make it so big that we got to hook it with padlocks.
The fucking bulldog is going to latch onto his fucking leg and he's not going to let go.
They're going after you because you're standing up to corrupt politicians here in Orange County. And there was one, I think, that just got, there was some news about that guy, Doe. Is that
one? Andrew Doe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's going down.
He's touching his buddy.
You were protesting Andrew Doe there at some of those meetings.
In 2020, I was like fucking yelling at him at the board of supervisors. Don't you lock down Orange County.
Do you remember the wanted posters? We used to do these wanted posters.
Yeah.
on the front of the restaurant. We did it for wanted posters for Zombie Joe Biden, Gavin Pelosi, all of them, right?
Yeah.
And Andrew Doe was on one of those.
Oh, he was.
And he's gone down. There's been a few of them that have gone down.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
So-
Judge Murray, that piece of shit judge,
We got to do one
was
poster
like this
for
with
him.
Doe.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
And Doe's like this with
That's
Spitzer.
right. Oh man, that's
Right?
perfect.
So
We got to talk about that more.
We got
That's
indication
important.
that these people are.
Yeah.
They're not.
But
they're
Todd
not-
Spitzer has got to see that the trend is going the other way now, and he better put his finger on the fucking pulse, or he's going to be left behind for sure.
He's going to pretend. He's going to pretend.
Hey, if he doesn't do the right thing soon, he's going to be left behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
He's going to be with them.
Yeah.
You know, because in a couple weeks, hopefully everything's going to fucking change.
I hope so.
And I personally think I have my own way of kind of keeping track of the polls and my own way of kind of getting a sense of which way the wind is blowing, and it's going to be a blowout.
I think so.
God willing. God willing, Tony.
God willing, they would have to launch a huge effort to steal this time.
Well, you know what?
They're still going to do it.
And hopefully more people are watching these key
But if
points.
they stole it this time, the evidence is going to be so obvious.
Okay, so
It'll be
African American
ridiculous.
men for Trump,
Yeah.
you need to go to all those polls and put those riggers in check. You got these big, bold black women. You can't, black woman's talking and she's going to kick some poll watcher out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they need to have a man there to say, no, you don't.
Only men.
No, you don't.
Yeah, like
Only
I said,
men.
goons.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Not
They
even goons.
Like
You
the
know what?
hockey enforcers.
They need to be heroes. They need
The
to
hockey
step up.
enforcers.
Yeah.
Just like they step up anything else. These polls, these polling booths, they need to be occupied.
I want goons because goons are intimidating. And
Well, I'm not going to call them goons. I'm going to call them heroes because
we'll
that
call them
can
Goombas.
be Goombas. Yeah,
We'll call them
they can be
Goombas.
honorary black Goombas.
Goombas.
I want black men to do that. I want men of all races to do that. Occupy these polls and don't let these riggers get away with rigging and kicking people out. And you know what? It'd be like you said when they made that call at the stadium, and then everybody rose up, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If these riggers try to steal some shit or try to bring out some fake fake ballots or whatever they're gonna do, we need to have somebody fucking step up and say, no, you don't, not on our watch.
That's it.
And they have to have the numbers.
And if Trump wants any support from us, he needs to walk into Basilicos and sign a declaration that he apologizes for the lockdowns and that he needs to swear to all of us under oath. What?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What?
I mean, we could entice him to come. We can let him cook some, calamari.
Yeah,
for him.
I like that idea. And then he's got to sign the oath that he's never going to fucking lock down for 1 second.
Because they made us
ever
enemies,
again.
Tony.
Yeah, and
They made us enemies. And you know what, to this day, I didn't mention this, but when I came back from DC, do you know how many fucking TSA agents they had at my fucking gate before I got on the plane?
Oh, yeah,
I go through TSA, right?
It was last
and they
week,
do
yeah.
their little thing, and they search they look under my feet, and they search everything. And then I get to my gate. And when I get to my gate, they got 11 TSA agents there, and they got 2 bomb-sniffing dogs. So they want to fucking swab my fucking hands for fucking dynamite. Like, come on, who the fuck do you think I am? Do you think I fucking want to blow myself up? This is fucking projection bullshit. But I got some video. They had 11 fucking TSA agents there.
Yeah.
And they had 2 others with bomb-sniffing dogs. I even talked to one. I said, I go up to him, I go, what's going on? Well, just standard procedure.
They just
and I
want
said, funny how
Standard
this
procedure.
happens at every gate I fly into and every fucking plane I'm about to get on. I use the F word with her, but you know what? She tried to run some dragon.
Funny how, like a clown?
It is funny.
We got to warn people that are watching this. So if you've traveled and you get a boarding pass and it has 4 S's on it,
Yeah, you travel with him.
You're in-
once.
you're in for-
You got the 4 S's.
I actually experienced this live one time, and it was very
Surreal.
It was surreal for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, so
He's a troublemaker, Tony.
So we were
the 4 S's,
I know.
Tony.
Yeah,
I
so
had
we
the
were
4
gonna,
S's.
we had this event. We were called on to do this event to go speak. They wanted me to come out and speak at this event in Florida.
Yeah.
At this really cool fucking place, but and I couldn't make it. So you guys said, you know what, we're gonna fucking go.
Represent.
So I called them up and I said, look, Doug and Kim are coming out. They're going to represent. Kim's got a great story to tell. Doug's got a great story to tell. Let these guys talk. That's awesome. So you guys go to the airport, and Kim's got his ankle monitor on. You guys got there. You didn't get there early enough, I think, but which creates some
3
fucking
hours.
challenge.
I got to be there
Well,
3 hours.
3 hours.
We were at least 2 hours ahead. I mean,
but they wouldn't let you board the fucking flight.
Yeah. Well, they
Both
put
you
it.
guys.
They were about to let me aboard, but Doug was literally like 50 feet away, and they said, "Come on, now or never." They want to be twisted about it. I said, "Wait, but he's almost here. Give me 8 seconds." Nope. They shut the door and locked it.
I mean, it was literally less than a minute difference between that door shutting and me being there ready to go.
They wouldn't let me.
But it was because they did increased security checks on you guys, right?
Yeah.
And they knew it.
Held
The people at the gate had to know because the TSA people were there. They came to the gate after we get this big check at the first checkpoint, and then they had somebody at the gate waiting for us.
But I bet they Google my name, Doug. To be honest with you, I bet they Google my name, and these shit libs they got these through like diversity, equity, inclusion. They got these positions, so they can be these petty tyrants.
But all this goes back to
petty tyrants, Tony.
The tiny tyrants, tiny tyrants of the lockdowns.
They can be
you call them petty tyrants like that too.
Yeah.
But
somehow after the Patriot Act of 9/11, they made the Patriots the number one target, and then they empowered all
the tiny tyrants,
petty tyrants, tiny tyrants.
Yeah,
they made them all big.
They fucking
people.
empowered them, and so what I want Trump to do when he comes to Basilicos is first, just like he did at McDonald's. We're no fucking McDonald's, but he needs to fry up some calamari, like Doug said.
Or we get potato wedges if that.
We don't do potato wedges. We do fried artichokes or fried calamari or some chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
We'll fucking train him on the fryers.
We got a nice apron.
Then he's gonna. Yeah, we have a nice apron. Then he's got to sign a declaration. He'll never lock down for a second ever again.
Yeah.
He'll apologize. He will order the arrest of Fauci immediately.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
And he will promise to arrest any public official who ever again tries to lock down any level of American life. And only then will I be satisfied.
Well, that's why they were always calling him a dictator and a fascist ahead of time, because they knew that he would have to do these big power moves in order to clean this shit up. So they headed off at the pass by preemptively calling him a dictator
from day one,
and Hitler and all this bullshit, so that they could say, "See, we told you." So now Trump's walking this delicate tightrope where he didn't want to show that he could make power moves like that and be called a fascist. So he's trying to make nice with them. But you know what? Who gives a fuck? At this point, what they've done to our fucking country,
There's no more nice.
That's what I care about.
There's no more nice. The enemy within, yes.
He knows what's coming, so he gets elected, God willing. He knows what's coming.
Imprison the enemy within.
I don't know.
Then I'll be happy.
Well, he knows what's coming, and he's got to be ready to deal with it.
Could you imagine if they steal this election, how much of a humiliation ritual will be? Like, it'll be done. It'll be over. Like, I don't even know if the country will survive it.
Well, you know how I feel about that already.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing for election night? Like, we have some ideas, but it was recommended that we do live streaming just to kind of just.
I think that'd
be there at the restaurant, and I don't know.
I think it'd be fun to try and do that. I mean, it'd be a good night. I think we have a few things to say that might be interesting for people to hear.
Yeah, we'll have a big screen TV there, and we'll have like a watch party. People will show up like they do for the debates and elections in the past, and maybe we can. I know you guys are going to be there for sure, right?
Yeah.
God will.
Yeah, and then I'll try to be there. At least try to stop in, but we could talk to some people that are there, and we could add our own commentary and see if the technology works.
We can put up our graph with the new colors for the parties.
We got to do that for sure.
We're gonna have the red, white, and blue, and then we're gonna have the rainbow flag.
I love that. Can we please do that
Let's
immediately?
figure it out.
Yeah, that'll be easy to do.
At least we could be there telling people, not whatever station you're listening to, we can point out which commentators don't really know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
well, that's all of them.
Or don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
There you go.
But we've had a lot of growth with the show, and I want to thank everybody out there that have been watching. We've received some great feedback from a lot of great people, and we appreciate all of them. and others that watch. We ask them to fight alongside us in these battles and join the Roman Rules Legion.
What about those that track, Tony?
What's that?
What about those that track? You think they know I'm here right now, so what would you say to them? The trackers.
The trackers,
the trackers.
You mean the enemies?
The trackers of the bulldog.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Right. Keep watching and learning. Yeah. And
wake up.
And
how about
and the more you watch, you will begin to fear this man.
Fear God. I want to be a servant of God.
Well, they'll fear him later, but they need to fear you now. Doug?
I was going to say, the people that enjoy the show, and I know more and more every time we do, and more people fill in.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like it and you have friends, let them know. Sign up.
Join the Legion.
Friends. That's right. Join the Legion.
And how about if you got people that will hate the show?
They should watch too.
Bring on the haters.
That's right.
You know much I love them.
Thrives on the haters.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
I really do.
What were they calling you this last time?
They called me somebody said sitting in this chair I look like
the Sith Lord.
Sith Lord from Star Wars. So I had to look that up. I didn't know what the hell it was.
Yeah. I didn't know what that either.
Anyways.
What just tells you who they are?
Yeah.
They're just like
I laugh, man. It's fucking funny. Anyway.
Yeah. So
enjoy hanging out with you guys.
If you hate the show, you should watch more, right?
You should definitely watch
more. And talk a lot of shit to Tony and
we want
tell him what you think.
Yeah. We want you seething.
He needs some inspiring words from you to keep.
But the more you hate us, the more we know we're doing our fucking job.
That's right.
Anyway. All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
God willing.
Amen.